Following are step-by-step setup instructions for salt level programming. Use the arrow up, down, left, right buttons to scroll through menu items and or individual character changes on the display. The X button exits out of the display you are in. The check mark confirms a selection you have made. Use the arrow keys to go to the setup screen. Press the check mark. Use the arrow keys to go to the SB485 protocol. Press the check mark. Default setting is A. Press the check mark. Use the arrow keys to go to the SB485 termination. Press the check mark. Default setting is in. Press the check mark. Use the arrow keys to go to the auto add remove. Press the check mark. Stop the scan after it finds the first tank. Press the X, which I did. Press the X again to exit that screen. Use the arrow keys to go to units of measure. Press the check mark. Default is feet. Press the check mark. Use the arrow keys to go to weight calculations. Press the check mark. Default is disabled. Press the check mark. Use the arrow keys to go to the vessel setup menu. Press the check mark. We will set up tank number 1. Use the arrow keys to go to tank number 1. Press the check mark. Vessel height is displayed. That's how far the cable will travel. Set a distance. Let's assume we have an 18-foot tall tank with a 1-foot deep gravel filtration bed. Use the arrow keys to set a 17-foot depth. Press the check mark. Headroom offset is displayed. That's for setting the amount of SmartBob drop measurement to cancel or subtract out. Set it 0. Press the check mark. After you receive a full load of salt, you can adjust this number so that when you do a measure view, it will read 100%. SmartBob max drop is displayed. Use the arrow keys to go to enable. Press the check mark. Set the same or a little more than the vessel height. Press the check mark. Use the X key to exit out of vessel setup. Use the arrow keys to go to 4 to 20 milliamp output. Press the check mark. Default setting is product. Press the check mark. Use the arrow keys to go to 4 to 20 milliamp error. Press the check mark. Default is 22 milliamps. Press the check mark. Use the arrow keys to go to interval timer. Press the check mark. Default is off. Press the check mark. Use the arrow key to go to measurement format. Press the check mark. Use product percent. Press the check mark. Use the arrow keys to go to access code. Press the check mark. Default is off. Press the check mark. Use the arrow keys to go to language. Press the check mark. Default is English. Press the check mark. Use the X key to exit out of vessel setup. Use the arrow keys to go to measure view. Press the check mark. Select measure all. Pressing the check mark will start a measurement. And then you have a reading of what the level of salt or the percentage of salt is in your Brinemaker. More detailed instructions can be found in the Brinemaker O&M Bin Master console section that was included with your Brinemaker.